Welcome back, guys. So, yeah, this week, let's just continue debugging the directory entry passing. I've been trying to work that out last week. It did not go well. I tried lots of things. We'll continue that this week. But overall, we've been working on our own kernel, and it's been good so far. We have finished lots of parts. The virtual file system layer is the one that's dragging a bit. We've been mixing it up because there's multiple layers that needs to be implemented. We managed to completely get working the block layer. Currently, we are trying to get the virtual file system layer and the front end for X file system. So let's just continue that. Hopefully, we can make progress today. So last week, I was just debugging this code mostly. So if we let me just run it and see where we are, because I do have this comment saying that looks like maybe we need to figure out the directory entry parsing completely, because for some reason I'm only able to pass the first value, and the moment we move past that offset, nothing seems to be working, or for some reason the next structure has a different layout, something like that, and maybe we need to rethink or revisit the entire, at least the directory nodes structure. Yeah, but let's just start with seeing how it is looking currently. So as you can see, so we have our entire raw bytes. This is the raw physical block of root inode. So it has all those entries, but we need to parse those entries as actual directory nodes so that we will be able to further recurse down the path. But so to do that, we need to cast that raw bytes as directory node entry, and I am able to do it. So the moment I start here, I cast that and I'm printing the name of that directory node, and the initial one seems to be just dot, which is fine, which is correct. And the moment I move past that offset, everything else is just empty. And this is the issue I've been debugging last week. So yeah, let's see what we could do this week. Let me just rethink what we have implemented so far. So we have the raw bytes, and we start from offset 0, and we also have another variable to keep track of the number of nodes that we have passed, and we're just printing the entire node. This is just debugging. We can remove it, and we have a while loop that's just going to pass 10 directory entries, and we start by casting the raw bytes with the current offset being 0, and we're going to cast it as extend directory entry. And then we also need to get the name length, because the name field is dynamic. Yeah, we don't do anything much. We just print that entire string, and we also have another field which is called record length, which is the entire length of that structure. So we can just move past that. So our current offset plus the record length value, so that we can start from the next directory entry. So we can cast the next offset as another directory entry. That's the entire implementation, and I believe this should be completely fine. But for some reason, it simply is not working. And So I tried a bunch of stuff last week. Nothing seemed to work. So I'm just going to try to maybe see if we can clear, because last time instead of directly taking this value, which is a uint 16, I moved it into a separate variable, cast it as uint 64, and then I tried to add it, and this addition seemed to fix one of the bug. So because we are writing everything in C, maybe we need to explicitly do things. I don't know if it's gonna make any difference, but I believe last week we did that and it changed. We need to change this format specifier too, because this should be character, not string. Other than that, I don't see anything. We have the currents, and next thing we need to maybe confirm is possibly, does extend directory node have another parsed output or something like that, or a different structure in between the layout? That is what we need to confirm. And from this data, I believe there's no such thing. And should be extend, yeah, directory entries. And that it is also the map of entire bytes in data plus file system reference. Mm, linear array. Series of data blocks, and each block contains a linear array of directory entries, and end of each paired block arrays in prediction data. By default, this is file type feature. So we also tested this thing. So as you can see here, by default, file system uses this directory structure. So it has certain fields. But in case during the initialization, if we figured out that the ext4 file system actually supports file type feature flag, in that case, we are supposed to use this structure. So last week we also checked that. So we go back here somewhere. Yeah, we definitely confirmed that. And I'm pretty sure that that feature flag is not set. It must be somewhere. Yeah, it's here. So we have the magic bytes. Maybe we will go here. And then not this. No. We definitely confirmed it last week. I think it's GDT block. And then we are doing certain stuff. Relate to inode index. Yes, here's it. So initially we were just reading the I flag, No, I know mode and also just the I block, which is of offset 0x28. Last week we also tried to read this flag, which is just 20th offset. So it's just the entire uh, flags block, and within that, this particular bit is what we need to read to confirm whether a particular particular feature is available in this extend file system or not. And in this particular case, is not, and I have confirmed that too. So I'm pretty sure that we can just use this as our actual value, and that is this, which is just file struct should have an inode, a record length, and a name length, and file type. Wait. Okay, we are supposed to use this because unless the feature flag is not set, we are supposed to use this. And in that case, it's just inode, record length, name length, and we can just directly read this. And what is my case? Okay, here I am using file type 2. Okay, that's wrong. But it should not matter because this is uint 8 and this is uint 8. And this whole thing is uint 16. So yeah, maybe we can just simply try it, see what happens. So let's just move it to uint 16 name length. And also file name, it's just a character. We're not supposed to consider it as an array, but only in our actual implementation, we are supposed to assume that it's a series of characters of length, name length. So we can start from here and read up to whichever value we want to read. So let's put something like this. Is this valid? Let's just double check it. Maybe it is fine to define an empty array, something like that. Okay, now looks like we're getting something else because now the directory entries in the initial value is also 0. Wait, let's go back to our past directory entry. Here we are supposed to we are casting it raw byte plus current. No, node length is 109. That's not looking good. And only thing we changed is that we removed 2 fields and moved it into 1 field, and we also removed the length of the final fields. So we made 2 changes. Maybe this is casting it wrong. Maybe we're supposed to do it like this. Am I doing any other casting? Okay, let's try. Okay, there's a little bit of change. So right now the initial entry has a record length of 12. Okay, something is happening, and my character is not good enough. So let's see this. I should also mm, yeah, let's just put 12 there. Let's see what happens. Okay, just by moving the string, I was able to get it working on this. Let's just double check it. Because I moved it back to empty array and now I'm running it. Looks like it is working. And also if this is what I'm trying to do, then I don't need this length because I am using it as a string operation and it is supposed to stop just fine. So this. Now if we run it, okay, it works. So we have the first directory entry, which is just one dot, which is the current directory's value. And then we have the second directory entry, which is dot dot, which is to go back to the previous node. Okay, that seemed to have worked. And then we have the third entry, which is just directory lost. And then we have bin home. Okay, looks like it worked. It's just so we made three changes. I don't know which changes are actually needed. We removed this byte and we changed it into a single field, which is of 16 bytes or 16 bits. And then we also removed the entire length that we passed to this file name. We also did one more change, which is just to properly cast it instead of, looks like I did a mistake. I think maybe this is the actual difference because here, as you can see, I have raw bytes. Initially, I did not have this bracket, so probably I was casting this raw bytes as directory node entry, and then I was incrementing currents to that. That means probably it incremented in the actual size of the extend directory instead of incrementing it as a pointer arithmetic. Probably that's what happened. I'm not particularly sure. But overall, I believe these changes are fine because as we know, we don't have the, let's just write, we don't have the file type feature flag set. So we don't need to pass file type. Okay, that's one mistake that we fixed. Second is this pointer arithmetic. So we consider the raw bytes plus current as the initial operation, and then we cast it. And then we also changed this into a changes from a loop to just normal UR printf, because as we know, we just have one. For some reason my character format specifier is not seem to be working, but my string format specifier somehow is working. But for I know string format specifier only stops if it finds a null byte, but in this case it hasn't found any and it's still able to stop. Maybe we can think about it later. We'll have to fix this format specifier. Maybe put character. Okay, that's one issue. Okay, right now we are able to find every directory. So what do we do? I think we are supposed to return a directory star. That means a list of directory entries. And what is a directory entry? Directory entry is just a list of directory nodes. Okay. And we can have up to 128. So in that case, I can move to 128 and yeah, maybe we can do something like this. So if current node dot inodes is equals 0, then we can just continue. That's one check. What else can we do? Do we know the raw byte size? We can't simply read 128 parse nodes because we don't know if our character raw bytes actually has that many actual bytes in it. It may not have it. I mean, it is one physical block, right? That's also not sure because probably it is possible that we concatenated multiple blocks into single raw bytes and we are passing it down to no, I'm not sure. So here we have the raw bytes. Where did this raw bytes come? I don't know. We need this. So let's go here. Okay, here we're just reading. Okay, for every block result, we allocate some space and read the block and we print it and we get the directory. Okay, that's fine. If that's the case, then I should be able to just go in here and say it should be only of 4096 bytes. So that means either this, no, we have to consider the first condition, which is current offset should be less than 4096 and parse node is less than 108. If that's the case, then we can still continue parsing. So let's do that. We'll kill it. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. That's not good. Where's this message current value on top? Okay. So when we reach this case, let's just say current plus size of extend directory knowledge is greater than 4096 because the upcoming value is also greater than 4096, then we can stop. There's no point in continuing to. What the fuck? It shouldn't be the case because we have the current plus size of extend directory node. Okay, so here I'm just keep on continuing. So instead I just say maybe we can move past extend directory node. I don't know, maybe we can just say break. Instead of continuing, if we know that the current node is 0, we can just stop them. Okay. Also, for some reason, we have a directory entry that's record length is of size 3000 something, which is definitely wrong. Okay, it's not today's error. We can figure it out some other day. Um, let's just say let's just initialize directory pointer, and we can say directory star. Let's just Camelot, and we need to. I guess it already has the size, so it's just a size of directory. And it's just one directory because a single directory can hold up to 128 directories. So that should be fine. So we can just we are supposed to directory right, it should be DARS, and the index should be parse nodes. And here we are supposed to actually create a extend directory entry. Extend directory entry. So it's Camelot that no, I believe we already have it because we have it here. So maybe it's fine. We can just say current node. We don't have to do anything else. Just say current node. And finally, we just return direct. What the fuck happened? Something did happen. So we managed to go past every directory. And then what happens? Looks like we are reading some sector. and you're still reading more sectors. Maybe there's some issue with the loop, probably, because looks like it did work and we probably returned here. After that, probably our recursive function is doing something wrong. I'll have to figure that out. Let's just double check it. So it's the same here. So let's see. Here we are supposed to return here. And let's say we have 128 directories. And we read every directory. And we say we recurse directory. We are calling recurse directory with the current I know. So let's print that. Exploring inodes. And let's see. It should be 10 inode. Let's see. And we are looking for exploring inode 2. Again, we are trying to explore 2. Why the fuck? Why is that? Okay, then something is wrong with our directory parsing again. So here we can't know, should be just fine because we are sure that this bytes is allocated in our heap. So if this is always alive, that means we can possibly consider the pointers within those characters as actual pointers, and it should work just fine. I'm still wondering. I'm pretty sure if I just directly pass this as a pointer to be saved here, maybe let's just print it. But we have already printed the current node. Which is just current directory entry, which is this value. Okay, let's just print that to them here. Let's see what's in the source. So we have current inode, which is just, yeah, the current nodes, inodes. So let's see. So now if I run it, okay, now I want to go up and I say explode. So the first entry, the inode value is 2, which is correct because it is directory entry and it should have the current directory's value, which is root. And to go back, it's still dot dot. So this is correct. So only thing I need to do is that I need to skip entries. So it's like if the current node did inode equals equal to 2, that means no, for every node I pass, I'm not supposed to pass the first 2 entries. Yeah. So it's better to just say something like first nodes less than 2. That means 0 and 1 will be skipped. Less than or equal to 1. Then we can just pass node less equal to 1. And we can just continue. And I can parse the other nodes just fine. Because every directory entry, if we list the contents of that directory, it will have the dot and dot dot. Because I can just show you here if we just create a new tab. If we put 10, we put ls. Okay, looks like macOS does not have it. No, it does. You can see it has dot and dot dot, which is just current node and the previous node. Set that. So let's see. Let's run it again. Go back. Okay, that looks a lot better. Because we are exploring 13 initially. Maybe something else. Because I don't have the full history. It could be. I'm actually not sure because let's just go through it again. The first time we have the contents of the zeroth second inode, which is root inode, and here we are skipping two nodes. That is, in case the pass node value is less than 1. That means we just simply say we increment it and continue. That's what we have done. And we do have this printed, and it is saying that I'm exploring new nodes. What else can go wrong? I'm not sure. I am not sure. Once we have passed the values, we know that every directory entry is saved, and we are skipping the entries that don't have anything. Maybe instead of doing that, let's just say, let's just make it TF, TF, personal equals to, let's just set it to 0, and then inside the loop, here we can just directly say if the value is 0, we can continue. This should be far better. And we can read it and yeah, explore further. Okay, let's kill it. Okay, so we have the explore node 2, and we still have explore node 2. What the fuck? Why is that? If it's less than 1, I'm saying it's Oh, fuck me. I have to put else. Cut it and paste it here. Okay, now if I run it, okay, it's like the small improvements. Now there's only one explore node. It's possibly because we're not able to keep the entire history. I need to fix this. Increase Cmax history. Mhm. Okay, let that be just as it is. Okay, let's assume that it is walking. So definitely the passing, the recursive loop is also working. So only thing we can currently test is that instead of parsing every damn thing, let's just put one, two. Now if we go back here, so we only have two, which is not good. So let's put four, because the first two entries are ignored anyway. Okay, even just putting one more is not working. So it's speeding. What should be happening? So the first two entries will be skipped, and the third and fourth entry should be updated here in this block, and then we should have somehow written here. And what would have happened? And then this value should have been reached this statement somehow. I was expecting only to see two exploring inodes, or in our case, just one. So let's see. Let's just say, let's say, so we do have parse entry returned, which is a value, and when we try to go inside that, looks like we always return here. Why is that? Inside. So parse directory entry returned this. So can't notice dots. Something is not right. The can't node should be 2, and here it's 2. It's fine. And the third one, why is there no third? I have no fucking clue. Because at least we should have had 3 nodes parsed. That should be the minimum, because also the first 2 nodes are literally skipped. Only the third node assigns this, and then the loop would end because third node 0, 1, 2. 2 is still less than 3. So we would still go in and we would still print what would we print? So this is what is wrong. Because for the first entry we have record length of 12 and inode is 11 for some reason. Okay, whatever it is. For the second node, we just have to go back one directory, which would still be just 2, but the record length is not supposed to be 4072. Definitely that's wrong. And that's why the moment we get past it, we are stuck. I don't know how that is possible. Okay, let's just write it to do. Figure out why the entry has a wrong record length. Yeah, because in the initial run, we were able to put through all entries when I restricted it to just 3 parse node. Does not seem to be working. Okay, let's debug this tomorrow. So today in general, we managed to fix one issue, or particularly 2 issues. We removed one field from our directory node entry. We fixed one casting bug, and we also managed to just run it once and print the entire thing, and it was able to print all the nodes separately. So at that point, it did work. But the moment I right now trying to go into the next one, so here we also managed to fix one more issue, that if we pass the first 2 entries inside a directory, it's not going to work because the first 2 entries are just dot and dot dot, which is the current directory and the previous directory, and it would just create a recursion, so we don't have to pass dot and dot dot. So I have added the logic to skip over them. So that part is fine. So it's literally just to check if the pass node is present, just move past it. If that's not the case, we simply add the current node. Okay, so now tomorrow I need to figure out why limiting this to just 3 all of a sudden seems to not work, because even the parsed case seems to be throwing some sort of so here this is the exact example. So we have one directory entry and we have another directory entry, and then the moment we move past that, we don't have the entry for we don't have the print message. Maybe it's fine, I don't know. Also, the second entry for some reason is in having a record length of 4027. We need to figure this out. Okay, we can do that tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow then. I'll be streaming at the same time. Thank you. Have a good day.